there, and welcome to Pet Loss Support with Joanne. My name is Joanne Berg. I am a therapist and a certified grief educator. I specialize in pet loss and bereavement. I am passionate about helping people navigate this type of grief because it is so often deeply misunderstood and minimized. Yet it can have some profound emotional and psychological impacts. So therefore, today I want to talk about something many people feel, but are often ashamed to say out loud. Why am I so angry? I'm not an angry person in general. Most of all, why am I so angry at my veterinarian? If you are feeling anger, even rage towards your vet, you are not alone. Let's explore this together. 1. I'm going to talk about 1. Why anger is a normal and recognized stage of grief. 2. Why veterinarians can become the focus of that anger. 3. When anger may be connected to guilt or trauma. 4. How grief and trauma can sometimes overshadow facts. And 5. How to sort through your feelings. 6. How meaning can emerge from grief over time. 7. Rebuilding trust in yourself. And 8. Having that conversation with your veterinary team when you're ready. So, anger as a recognized stage of grief. It's not a flaw in your character. It is not a sign that you are unreasonable or uncaring. Anger is a recognized stage of grief. Now, psychiatrist Elizabeth Kubler-Ross first introduced the 5 stages of grief, and I touched on them in my first few videos. Denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and acceptance, and not necessarily in that order. It is not a neat and tidy process. Anger is often the stage that emerges when the reality of the loss begins to settle in. Anger can sound like, why did this happen? This isn't fair. Someone should have done more. How could this be allowed? Anger is also often the body's way of protecting us from overwhelming helplessness. When something feels unbearable, anger can give us a temporary sense of control. It may be easier to feel outraged than shattered, easier to feel blame than profound loss. When a pet dies, especially in medical circumstances, that anger may land on the veterinarian because they were present at the most painful moment. I am so sorry. But often, anger is grief in motion. So why does your veterinarian become the focus? Your veterinarian was part of the final chapter of your pet's life. They may have delivered the difficult news, discussed prognosis, recommended euthanasia, performed that euthanasia, and made medical decisions you're now questioning. When someone is present during a traumatic or emotionally overwhelming moment, our brain can attach the pain to that person. This does not mean your feelings are wrong. It means that your brain is trying to make sense of something unbearable. So when is anger mixed with guilt or trauma? Sometimes anger towards a veterinarian is layered with something much deeper. You may be blaming yourself. Did I miss the signs? Did I wait too long? Did I act too soon? Did I fail my pet? So when trauma and grief intersect, anger can intensify. So anger, when does that happen, can sometimes overshadow facts, and why that is absolutely normal. Research and professional data show that disagreements or complaints between clients and veterinary teams do occur. However, only a small percentage of complaints are formally determined to involve professional negligence or failure to meet accepted standards of care. This information is not meant to dismiss anyone's experience. If you feel hurt, angry, confused, or betrayed after your pet's death, those emotions are real and deserve to be witnessed. I can help you. Grief and trauma affect how the brain processes events. When we lose someone we love deeply, and it is a traumatic end, and not any end is traumatic, our brain tries to create a story that helps the loss make sense. Anger can become part of that story because anger can feel safer than helplessness. It can feel easier to direct pain outward than to sit with uncertainty and guilt, or the reality that sometimes medical interventions have their limits. This is not weakness. This is how human grief works. Many grieving pet guardians replay the final moments repeatedly, over and over and over again, searching for certainty, reassurance, or answers that feel emotionally satisfying. This is a normal part of trying to process loss. So how can you sort through your feelings? Here are some general suggestions. Separate facts from feelings. Take a step back. So journal without editing, if that feels right for you. Ask what emotions are under the anger. Consider veterinary context and compassion fatigue. Sort out your particular journey with a professional. So here are some client voices. They have given written permission to share in the hope that this may be helpful to others. I was so furious at the clinic, but underneath that, I realized I was terrified that I made the wrong choice. Thank you, Joanne, for helping me through this. I needed someone to blame because I couldn't tolerate how powerless I felt. Thank you, Joanne, for gently helping me to reach this conclusion in my own way. So now, how do you rebuild the trust in yourself? Can you trust that you made the best decision you could with the information and love you had at the time? Most loving pet guardians do. But grief can be messy, with a whirlwind of emotions, and can activate other experiences of loss in your life. It is so hard. Good news, there is light at the end of the tunnel, and it is okay to seek help from a professional. So, how do you find meaning in all of this? Shortly before her death, Elizabeth Kubler-Ross and grief expert David Kessler collaborated on work that later became the book Finding Meaning, the Sixth Stage of Grief. But finding meaning does not mean the loss was okay, the death was justified, the pain disappears. Instead, it means asking other questions. How did this relationship teach me? How was I changed by loving this animal? What part of them lives on in me? How can I carry this love forward? Meaning does not erase anger. It transforms it. Over time, and it always takes time, anger can soften into understanding. And understanding can create space for peace and honoring your pet, maybe through volunteering, helping others through peer support. Now, this may be the time to talk to your vet and their team. Sometimes, as grief softens and is processed in a supportive space, people begin to see situations with more complexity and compassion, both for themselves and those involved in their pet's care. This may be a good time for that talk. You can seek clarity and closure in doing so. You may get your answers and also see that the vet team was grieving too. You will find that a respectful conversation with your veterinarian and the veterinarian team will be welcomed by them. Understanding facts does not erase feelings, but both deserve space. So in closing, if you are feeling angry at your veterinarian after your pet has died, you are not a bad person. You are grieving. Anger is often a reflection of deep love and deep pain. Please subscribe and share. What was your experience like? Are you feeling anger now? If you would like support in unpacking the guilt, the anger, the trauma, or complicated grief, I can help you sort this out. You can reach me directly at my website, petlossandbereavement.com, or at my email, joannebergen1@gmail.com. Take care and see you next time. I look forward to hearing from you.